Well, the Interfaith Forum of South Africa is calling for swift action to address the country's decline. The forum says poverty, inequality, gender-based violence, discrimination, corruption, as well as other crises continue unabated. It will be hosting a 3-day national convention from tomorrow to come up with possible solutions. And Ashwin Trikamjee, the president of the South African Hindu Maha Sabha, joins me from Durban now for more on this conversation. Ashwin, thank you so much for your time and a very warm good morning to you. I was having this conversation with Jenny actually while in preparation for today's bulletin that it feels like South Africans are traumatized just living in this country. The quality of life has deteriorated. When you're walking on the street, driving, you constantly have to look over your shoulder. Yesterday, we were reporting on a cash and transit heist robbery just on a highway on the N12. I mean, the list goes on, but it seems that you're equally concerned. So how would you describe the state of the crisis that we are currently all experiencing in South Africa?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I think the first point that I want to make is that, the majority of South Africans believe in the divine and are conscious of their religious obligations. And we as faith leaders now have an obligation to really restore the faith that people have in this country in whatever they believe in. That is why the Interfaith Forum, in collaboration with all the other faith organizations, got together and said, we as faith leaders owe it to our communities, owe it to our congregations, owe it to our societies, and owe it to our country, right, to restore the moral compass. We believe that, the moral compass in this country has to be reset. I mean, you spoke about poverty and you spoke about inequality, you spoke about violence. All those relate to issues that concern morality, a degradation of morality, a dilution of morality. And it is for us as faith leaders, we felt that we could get together and it is up to us to come up with solutions. I don't think that anybody in South Africa I have the solution. But certainly as faith leaders, we play and can play and will play a very, very influential role in reshaping South Africa's moral compass.
Yeah. The reason I asked you about your perspective on the state of the crisis in this country is because before a solution can be provided, we have to understand exactly what kind of a problem we're dealing with here. In your view, Ashwin, where did the moral degeneration actually begin for South Africa? Well,
my personal view has always been, and I say this as a faith leader, that morality starts in your lounge at home. Every South African is responsible for setting moral standards in his or her home. And that, of course, then pervades outside your home to the community and to society. So I believe that the time for pointing fingers and saying you're responsible or you're responsible is not going to be the solution. We need to reset, and I want to emphasize, we need to really reset the moral compass in this country. We need people to start accepting that morality is non-negotiable, cannot be diluted. Morality is morality. And unless we reset that moral compass so far as the morality is concerned, we're not going to get anywhere.
Now, when it comes to solutions, take me through exactly what the program looks like. I understand that it's a national convention where not only is the interfaith leaders coming together, but your appeal, once again, as you just reiterated, is to every household to be a part of this national convention. They don't have to be there physically, but by knowing that this is, the spirit with which is operating right now, where you are in a solution-driven convention, where you're driving solutions wherever they are in their spaces, they can equally have those conversations. But for you, when you are at the convention, what does the program look like? Who is invited? What are the topics that you'll be discussing?
Well, the convention is not just about faith leaders only coming together. What we've done is that we have invited people from all walks of life in society, different sections of South African society, the commercial sector, the social sector, the political sector, but we haven't invited any politicians who are presently in office. We've invited people with political commentaries who are able to join us and who are going to join us. And the whole purpose is that to address all these ills, we want them to tell us, first of all, how they see the position, because faith leaders can easily sit amongst yourselves and get lost in your own kingdom, as they say. That is why we've got different people from different denominations and different sections of South African society who are joining us. I mean, Advocate Mojanko Gumbi, everybody knows that she's a household name in South Africa. She was the personal advisor to President Thabo Mbeki. She's going to be joining us. Gloria Sorove, a very successful businesswoman who's been around not only in business world, but in social world as well. I recall that when we had the COVID problem, President Ramaphosa appointed her the chair of this special committee that was set up to raise funds during the COVID disaster that we had and so on. So just to use those two names, these are the kind of people that we've invited. We've invited Martin Kingston, who's a well-known, successful businessman. But we want to know from him, for instance, what does business think of the problem? How does business see solutions? And how do they think that faith leaders can join hands? Because this is all about, I want to emphasize, the solution cannot be in the hands of a few people only. All of us have got together. But when you want everybody to get together, you want strong leadership.
Yeah.
And the leadership is what we are looking for. And we are hoping and we are praying that at the end of 3 days, as faith leaders, we will be able to provide a direction to South African society and South Africa as a whole on how we can address the problem.
Absolutely. And we're seeing here faith leaders also taking a stance, Ashwin, definitely the stance that prayer needs to be followed by action. We're seeing the action that you're taking as leaders, as yourself. So thank you so much for speaking to me this morning, Ashwin Trikamjee, the president of the SA Hindu Maha Sabha, talking to me more about the 3-day national convention to take place, as you've heard, amongst others, Gloria Sorove, Martin Kingston. These are very well respected business people, amongst others, that are expected to attend the national convention to try and come up with solutions to address some of the challenges scathing South Africa.